Rich here for 2RC Productions. What's up, YouTubers? Hey, I'm here today with a request from Timothy, one of my subscribers, that wanted me to do a video, a comparison video on my microcars. So I'm going to go through my microcars and I'm going to talk about their good points, bad points, differences, part availability, repair difficulty, handling, and so on, accessories. And we're going to go through it. It's going to take a little bit of time because I'm going to do quite a few models. But it'll be very informative too. And basically any vehicle that I have, I always tell people if there's something I have, you want me to do a review on something or you want some information, that's what we're here for. I do this along with work a full-time job, raise a family of 5. I also work on cars in the summertime. I buy and fix up cars and sell them. I got 2 Mustangs right now that I'm working on. So I got a lot of things going too, but I want you to know that I will always make it a point to help you guys out in the best of my ability, whether it's in the comment section. I love the comments, man. You guys give me comments, I come home and I check and I got comments. I love responding to comments, and I love seeing another subscriber pop up. It's awesome to me. It's a good time. I know some of the guys, you know, have 10,000 subscribers, 20,000 subscribers, and they might get a little agitated because they got to answer all these questions and stuff like that. Well, obviously, those are good problems to have, and I'm nowhere near that level. But I want you guys to know that I welcome all the comments and the feedback, good or bad, improvements, whatever. If you want to see something, you let us know. I've said this before and I'll say it again. Now I want to tell you, in about 13 months we gained 100 subscribers. And in the last 2.5 weeks we've gained 40. So I want to let you guys know that I appreciate that greatly. I appreciate the subscriptions, and I like the comments. Love the comments. You can never give me too many comments. And I like other people to add to the comments. So if somebody leaves a comment, and then this guy leaves a comment to that guy that left a comment, I love it. I think it's great. I want to see more of that. I see, obviously there's a lot of people watching my videos, you know, and they go through and they pass through and they might hit the like, and then, you know, I don't hear nothing from them. But I would really like, even if it's a couple words, even if you want to strike up a conversation with someone else on there, let's do it, man. I know it's the age of tech where people aren't communicating as much, but I love it, man. More comments, the better. So anyway, getting on to the video, what we're doing today. Timothy requested this video, and I'm going to go through all my micros and give you detail on all of them. So just want to take a couple minutes to talk to you, and I'll break away and we'll get into the micros.
And we are going to go into my micro comparison video that was requested by Timothy. All right. I have the kickflip in this video here because I'm going to talk a little bit about it. I was going to smash this thing to pieces and throw it in the garbage during the week. Some of you have seen my other video, and we had some issues with this thing, and I wanted to get rid of it, but it's my son's and he wanted to keep it even though the radio's trashed, and I'm going to get him a Q32 when they're readily available. I'll get onto that more as we get into this conversation. But the kickflip is in here, and I will refer to it every so often, basically saying what you don't want your car to have or what you don't want it to be like. Okay, so the Q32, Hpi Q32 Baja Buggy. Now I have done a review on this, and I've done a follow-up review on this. It is a 1/32 scale RC buggy. Okay, I'm going to pull the body off. There's a little piece of Velcro that holds the body on. And I'm going to kind of go through each vehicle and explain about them. This has a built-in LiPo battery, built in. It charges from the controller, which I have right here. It's a 2.4 gigahertz controller. It charges from the controller. It's got a little adapter on the top that plugs into the side of the car, and it charges it up. And the weak point with this car, and the only weak point with this car to this point, and I've had this for about 5 weeks or so, is it takes forever to charge. It takes forever to charge. 55 minutes, 50 minutes is way too much for something that runs 7 minutes. That's probably the weakest point about this car, okay? Fun factor, this thing is a blast. It is an absolute blast to run. I don't know why it's so fun. It's hard to explain why it's so fun, but when you grab that pistol grip and you start running this thing, it's just a blast. You don't want to put it down. Then all of a sudden the battery's dead. You're like, oh man. They give you a little cardboard ramp with it, a little cardboard jump, and the cardboard jump is a blast. It's just a little piece of cardboard. It's black. You fold it up, and the thing just launches incredible off of it. I mean, depending on how much speed, if you get this thing to hook up enough and you hit that ramp full speed, boy, that thing, it sails. So anyway, this has a new style can motor. And what I've talked about, like sharing information, guys, this is where I'm asking you guys right now. If anybody has any information on these motors, why they're going to these kind, they're using this kind, it's in this, and the Kickflip uses the same style motor. They both have this narrow, elongated motor, which I have no idea what this is, where this came from, but obviously it's something they're doing now. It's probably something cheaper. But I do notice this, very quiet operation. Very quiet operation. That's one of the things I like about it. There's no loud, annoying whining, and it doesn't have an extensive gearbox in it, okay? It looks like it's a basic motor right to a gear and to the axle, and that's it. And you don't have a lot of noise. You don't have a lot of gear whine or anything. It's extremely light. I mean, this thing weighs next to nothing. It has a little more weight in the back because it has a monoshock in the back. Real stiff monoshock, but it gives you a little bit of something. Up front, there's no suspension at all. It has these steering arms that are pretty stout. These have a motor now to turn. They don't have, you can see when I'm turning, it's springing back. They don't have a servo like the older style cars. So I'm going to give you a little demonstration here how this thing turns. All right. Flip this on. Get that chance to, okay. Now, I'm turning the wheel. Let me make sure this is in the frame here because I want you to be able to see what I'm talking about here. Okay, I'm going to turn this thing right now, and I'm going to go absolutely, you can hear it engaging. Okay, and it almost, see that? I am going ever so slightly to the right, and I'm going ever so slightly back. Boom, and it jumps. It jumps a pretty good distance. I mean, I am literally turning this wheel like a 16th increments at a time. Boom. See how it went back straight? And now it goes, see, boom, I barely hit it and it goes to the right. That's the difference with this steering, okay? It's cool because it's proportional. Unlike the kickflip, when you were to turn the wheel on the kickflip, it goes click, 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 click. Super annoying, and it's all or nothing, which makes this thing, not only the fact that it handles terrible because the tires are so slick and it's massively overpowered for what it is. And then you got this click, 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 back and forth. Impossible to control. Now, Ryan loved this car. He drove this thing. Now, so all of a sudden, last week we're running him, and he says, hey, Dad, I haven't rode your Q32 yet. Let me take that thing for a run. He takes this thing for a run, and then all of a sudden he's like, Dad, this thing handles so nice. I can't believe how straight and you know, it goes exactly where I want it to go. And I go, yeah, right, that thing handles awesome. It handles way better than a kickflip. So then he put the kickflip down, and he ran like 4 batteries through mine. He kept charging. Hey, Dad, can I run it again? Hey, Dad, can I run it again? I said, yeah, Ryan, run it. And then I told him, and I'm going to pick them up one. Whenever they're available or when I'm in the area and they have one, I'm going to pick one up. So Q32, big fun. $59.99. Comes with everything except the AA batteries and the controller. Comes with everything else, and it is a awesome little machine. Now, I have not had any problems with it so far, and I hope I don't. The only thing I did was I painted the wheels on it black. They're supposed to be coming out with these accessories. They're supposed to be coming out with gear ratios, new tires, wheels, and so on. USB charger, because now you're using the batteries from the controller, and I have not heard anything yet. I don't know what HPI has got going on here, but I know people are trying to get these and they can't get them, and they've been talking about these things since like November. So come on, HPI, I like your products, but man, you guys got to get it together. You got people that want to buy your product, and you can't even supply the parts or the unit. Talk about throwing money out the window. So all right, we'll break away here, and then I'm going to get on to the next one. All right, next up here, we got the Airhogs Hypertrax. Man, this is a personal favorite of mine. All right, I just wish that there was a hobby grade company that made these where they were upgradable, where they had different parts and different batteries, because I'm telling you what, I've said it in a couple of videos. If you haven't watched my review on the Airhogs Hypertrax, please watch it, check it out, see what you think. This car, fun factor through the freaking ceiling. I mean, this thing is awesome. Awesome little unit for the money. I always compare money to dollar, because obviously, if you pay more money, it's like anything else. You buy a $4,000 car, you get a $4,000 car. You buy a $90,000 car, you can't even compare the $90,000 car to the $4,000 car. All right? So I give this way more props than some people might think it should get because it's $34.99. It's a steal. Comes with the unit, track machine. It's all pretty much, everything is sealed in there. The only problem I had with this is, and I actually didn't mention this on the Q32, but that's another problem with the Q32. It takes hair and fuzz up in them axles, man, big time. I've had to take the wheels off and clean that Q32 probably half a dozen times already. And I noticed on my other one, we got 2 of these. This one's Ryan. Next time I get to a Target or something, I'm picking the third one. I want the red one too, but I just haven't picked it up yet. But this one also, I noticed that my other one started tracking a little bit, trimming a little bit different. Like it would run straight, and then you'd flip it over, and it kind of curved to the right, and I was splitting hairs trying to get it to trim right. And when I took the tracks off, it was completely loaded with hair and stuff in the drive axle. So I had to take everything out. And this, you can't take the tires off, so it's a hassle. I had to use an X-Acto knife and peel it away. But this is mine. This one's Ryan's. I can't say enough about these fun factor, man. If you know a kid that maybe is not even in the RC and you want to give them something to try, absolute blast. 2.4 gigahertz, got a built-in LiPo just like the Q32. The charge time is less than the Q32, and the run time is probably twice the Q32. So major points with this. The other thing, it has a 2.4 gigahertz radio, nice rubber grip. It's got trim on there. It's got the charge. This also charges from the radio. The only downside with this is it carries 8 AA batteries, so it's heavy. And obviously, when you're changing the batteries, it gets kind of costly because you're putting 8 of them in there. But it makes a difference on the charge time. And they also last a long time. This is the original set in here since Christmas. I've changed mine once. Okay, the cool thing about this is their charge cord, man. This right here, this is what I like to see from RC companies, whether it's RC or anything else you buy. As a consumer, you want to see some innovation. You want to see that you're getting something for your dollar. I do anyway. And when I see this, I think, whoever's working for Airhogs in the design department, you ever watch a TV commercial? And it's the dumbest commercial you ever seen in your life, and then you wonder, who is paying these morons to make this commercial? They're getting paid millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars to make these commercials, and they're about the stupidest thing you ever seen. They annoy you, and you never want to watch them again. Well, it's the same thing with a product. If you get a product, and I see this, that they took this RC cord that plugs into the bottom of this thing to charge it, okay? You plug it in there. Then when you're done, you wind this winder up. You wind this winder up, and this thing holds right into the controller, man. I mean, how awesome is that? That alone is worth a lot to me, because that's saying that the guy that's building these, it's Airhogs, and then they're under some other name. I can't think of the name of them right now. But anyway, whoever is designing their products, they're really thinking about the consumer. You got a comfortable full-size controller here. You got a product that will crawl over things, it will jump, it'll speed, it'll lift the front end up, it'll flip over, keep going in the other direction. Fantastic product. Anybody that's into RC, I don't care if you've been into it 20 years, 30 years, 5 years, 2 years, should buy one of these for $34.99. You cannot go wrong. I drove it in the snow and everything. I saw them driving on TV in the snow. I took it out in the snow. Nothing happens to it, no glitching, no nothing. And they are throwaways. When the LiPo battery goes out, you throw them in the garbage. But even if you get 4, 5, 6, 7 months out of it for $35 and you really enjoy yourself, it's worth it, man. Then you go pick up another one. Very, very, very cool car. Love this car. All right, we're going to break away. We'll get on to the next one. Folks, next up, Ecx Kickflip. Dun, dun, dun. This is an absolute dud. This and the beatbox, complete garbage. I found out that they're manufactured by a Chinese company. And I want to explain something to you guys about Chinese companies, okay? Everything we're buying in RC is China. I don't think anybody, I don't even know if Tamiya makes their stuff in Japan anymore. Tamiya always made their stuff. And they might still make their stuff in Japan. And if Tamiya does make their stuff in Japan, I looked it up and I couldn't find information on it. If anybody knows that, throw a comment out and let me know, because Tamiya used to be made in Japan. It might still be made in Japan. And that might be why they claim so much money for their stuff. Because their stuff, you see some of their kits, they're like $500, $700 for some of their kits. Tamiya makes a quality vehicle. They make a simple vehicle, nothing extravagant. Their parts, just basic plastic parts. But I'm telling you what, you can run the dog snot out of their stuff. and not have issues. They make awesome products. Now, I hope they're still made in Japan, because Japan makes great products, okay? China can make certain things good, and it's all up to the owner of the company. They decide what parts are used, where they're manufactured, if they're going to use a good piece of plastic or a piece of junk piece of plastic. I've dealt with this before, because I was actually working with a guy that we were fabbing some things, and he wanted to get a price from China, and he got a price from China. And there was different levels. You could get a pile of junk from China, or you could get something fabricated really well from China. So I am a firm believer in Made in USA, and I try to buy everything. I'm a union man. I try to buy everything USA that I can. But let's face it, folks, there's certain things, if you want to be in RC cars, you're either going to have the China stuff or you're not going to have nothing at all, because ECX, all these brand Traxxas, all these brands are made in China. Every accessory you buy radios, they're made in China. You buy chargers, they're made in China. They're all over. There might be one in there that's made somewhere else, but 95% of the stuff is made in China. So this here is made by another company, where basically they have this company that's putting the ECX brand on this. This other company is called Swan. They're putting it on there. And I wouldn't even mind that, because everything we're buying anyway is China, if it was a quality product. But I've been over this a few times. I'm getting burned out on talking about this thing. But I just hate for people to make a mistake and buy this piece of junk, because it's an absolute piece of garbage. It doesn't handle good. It steers terrible. Look at the steering slop in this thing. I mean, it's horrendous. Look at this. It's absolutely horrendous. How are you supposed to control something like that? And I said before, if you want to put it in somebody's hand, hammer the throttle and do donuts for 10 minutes till the battery dies, cool car. Other than that, complete junk. Ryan's controller went out this week. The battery door, the first time we were changing the battery door broke, so this thing's out of commission. Like I said, I just assumed throw it away, but Ryan wants to keep it. It looks cool sitting on the shelf, but that's about it. It has similarities to the Q32. Price is $34.99. It's less than the Q32, same as the Hypertrax. Has the same type of motor, has the same single mono shock in the back, which is complete garbage. I mean, it's all crooked and just complete garbage. Basically has the same type of front steering. It's got that motor for steering, but it's non-proportional. It's all or nothing, like I said. So I don't want to spend too much time on this one, because I'm very disappointed in this. And the best advice that I could give you guys is, don't buy this or the Beatbox. If you want to have a micro that's inexpensive, you got two fantastic choices. One is the Hypertrax. Number 2 is the Q32. So we'll get on to the next one. All right, guys. Next up, Losi Micro Desert Truck. All right, now we're getting into some stuff here, guys. This is a micro that's been around for some time. And before I talk any more about this, I'm going to tell you that this car is at least 4 to 5 years old. I want to say it's probably 4 years old. And I've ran this quite a bit. And I have not had one issue or breakdown with this at all. Okay? I don't abuse it, though. I don't slam it into stuff purposely. I don't smash it right full speed and smash into walls. I do take care of this, because this is a full-size 110 scale truck shrunk down. And when this first came out, this was a big deal, man. This is it is amazing the technology that's out. I want to show you something here real fast. When I was a kid, I'm 42 years old now. When I was a kid, the big deal was, maybe some of you out there might remember these, Stomper 4x4s, okay? This was the biggest deal going when I was in grade school. I don't remember what they cost. I want to say they're probably like $5 at the time. You put one single pen light battery in there, you turn the switch on, and you put your hand down there, and they had foam tires you could get, and they had the hard tires, and then these don't run anymore. They're, for whatever reason, but I just keep them on the shelf because they're cool. You never see them anymore. But you'd hit the button, and and it would drive one speed, and it would drive over your hand, and that was the coolest thing ever. Now we got this. We got a full-scale radio control car with 4-wheel independent suspension. And if you look at them control arms, I mean, this ain't even like old school Tamiya where it would be, when the wheel would go up, it would curve. And you'd lose camber as you're going up. This thing is You look at that wheel stays parallel all the way as it goes up. I mean, it's awesome. They're friction shocks, they're not oil filled. But it's got a live axle on the back. It's got a brush motor, can style motor, just like a big one. It's got a full-on gearbox with a slipper clutch. You can see the cover there. It's got, you see in the back, it's got a little label on there, TL, Team Losey on the back. You see that suspension working, all independent. Show you the front, same thing. Control arms, the wheels, you can see the wheel stays perfectly parallel. I mean, it is an amazing little machine, what it can do. It comes with a nickel metal hydride battery in there that is changed. You know, you can change it. You can put a lipo in there. You can put a brushless setup on it. You could change every part on these things. I've seen guys change all them out to aluminum parts and everything. They got different tires, wheels. You could look at the tire or the wheels there. It's got like imitation bead locks and nice rubber grip tread tires. I mean, this is the real deal here. You got this body with all the detail on it, scale details, a little spare tire in the back, and windows, and awesome paint job. I mean, the color on this thing is fantastic. The paintwork they do, it's just like a big one. It's got a nice scale bumper with a couple lights in the front, little bumper in the back. Very, very cool truck. This thing runs for like $79.99, so you're a little bit more than the Q32. You're getting a lot more of a vehicle. But for bashing, I wouldn't recommend this for bashing. I would recommend this if you want to run a car, you want to run a course, you want to run a precise course, you want to have excellent handling and steering and some suspension to soak up the bumps. That's what this is for. For all bashing and just hitting ramps and going crazy and hitting stuff, I wouldn't recommend this. I'd go with the Q32. I'm going to fire this thing up here. This is the only downside with this. I just noticed I had no batteries in this. I usually try to take my batteries out if I'm not using a car for a little bit. But it's a full-size radio. It takes 8 AA's because this is a 27 megahertz radio. This is the only downside with this. 2.4 is awesome. You get no interference. This one you're going to have to do a crystal swap if you want to run a bunch of them together. But it is an awesome radio. Very comfortable. It's big, you know. But even for a kid, Ryan uses his and he has no issues. It's got a nice foam grip. Big Losey on there with the bolts. It's got dual rates. It's got steering trim, throttle trim on there, servo reversing. 27 megahertz. I haven't had an issue with it being a problem with 27 megahertz at all. Not a problem. So I'm going to pop some batteries in this thing real quick, and I'm going to show you the servo action on this compared. All right, YouTubers. I got this just a trimmer. I want to show you the servo action on this thing. Now this has got a regular full-size servo in it. Let me tip the camera down there a little so you can see. Look at the front end on this. Now I'm going to give it a little bit of steering. And you can see what I'm talking about. I'm going 16th increments. And you could see them wheels turning. And I'm holding it there. And I'm holding it there, okay? Now I'm going to come back. Ever so slightly. I mean, these, you could see the steering. Big difference from the Q32. I mean, these things are really precise. If you want a car where you're running a course and you want to thread the needle, this is what you want. Look at the steering. I mean, it's awesome. So very cool little car. Full independent suspension. Can motor, like I said. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut this off and I'm going to go right into the Micro T because this is a desert truck. The Micro T is 136 scale like this. I didn't mention that. This is 136 scale. If you look at them, the desert truck is slightly larger, and they did that on purpose. They wanted to extend the platform a little bit. It's got a little longer wheelbase than the Micro T. The Micro T is the stadium truck. Answer to the desert truck. It's got the paint, you know, just the yellow plastic wheels. It's got the spike tires in the back. It's got the rib tires in the front. It's got an awesome detailed body with a wing on it. I mean, the body just looks so cool on this thing. It's the paint. Hopefully you can get that paint in the camera there. I mean, it's just excellent paint job. It's got all the detail all over it, the headlights and grill, and they just pay attention to a lot of detail on this. This is also 27 megahertz, just like the other one. It has four-wheel independent suspension, same thing. It's got the can motor. It's got the slipper clutch. I don't want to spend too much time on this because it's basically the same thing as the desert truck. This car, and I don't know if it's just a fluke that You know, sometimes you get a quick one or a slow one. My Desert Truck runs pretty good, but this thing is way more snappy than my Desert Truck. This thing really hooks up and goes. It's definitely got more power. I don't know if it's just a stronger motor because my motor's older or what, but Ryan got this probably 2 years after I got mine, and this, I mean, he just knocks me in the dirt with this thing. I can't even keep up with him at all. I mean, it's definitely quicker than mine. It could have a lot to do with his tires. I think his tires grip a lot better than the Desert Truck tires. But the only downside with these things probably is the front suspension is nice and firm. I mean, it's a little bit weak, but it's pretty firm. The back are pretty weak on both of them. If you run over a jump, you hear that clunk when I'm picking up and dropping it. The bottom is smacking the ground. That's probably the only thing that they could have done to improve this a little bit is stiffen up that rear suspension. You know, I mean, we don't need it to be that soft. It doesn't hurt anything because it's not that heavy that it's gonna, if it hits the ground, it's gonna damage it. But it still would be nice to be a little bit stiffer. Now, if you compare the weight to the Q32, I mean, I don't have a scale here. It'd be nice to weigh these actually to see the difference. In fact, I might do that. I might pick up one of them postage scales just to be able to weigh these small cars and helicopters and stuff, so I know for myself. It's definitely, I would say it's probably twice the weight of the Q32. So when we were talking about durability, you know, the Q32 doesn't have enough mass to really do anything. The tires slip a little bit because it's got foam tires. You run into something, it just kind of boom, and just bounces off, and I haven't had anything happen. This thing here, this has got some weight to it, and it's fast. And when you get going with this thing, if you slam into something, I mean, you'll end up breaking one of these suspension parts and snapping pieces, and they go flying. And the one thing about these cars, because you could change everything, I don't know if you could see them little tiny Phillips screws on this thing, but this thing is a nightmare unless you have like excellent vision and you have like little tiny fingers that you can negotiate all these little screws back into position if you have to change them. That's not for me, man. I would much rather work on the bigger stuff than mess with this little small stuff. Obviously, if something breaks, I'll have to fix it, but knock on wood, nothing has broke on either of these since we've had them. They've worked absolutely fantastic and flawless, both of them. Radios, cars, batteries. Batteries have lasted, and just a good all-around truck. This one. All right, so the Micro T, if you don't have one, definitely pick it up. It is a very, very cool car. Or the Desert Truck. I like the Desert Truck myself. The look of it. I think the Desert Truck looks a little better. But definitely worth picking up. 80 bucks, 70 bucks. So there those are. Last but not least, I'm going to talk about one more car. Actually a truck that is not in, I'll call those, say, the runabout category. They're different. You got a stadium truck, you got a desert truck, and you got buggies. And the ones I showed you so far. These are the crawlers in the micro world. Okay? And what we have here is the Team Losey Micro Trailtrekker. They used to have Micro Crawler. They used to have. And then they dumped that. And the thing with Losey is, and I can't really figure it out, is they have something for a little while and then they get rid of it. They have something and they get rid of it. And, you know, some people might want to buy one of these vehicles, but maybe they're, you know, they bought a couple other ones, or maybe they're saving their money, or maybe they're into another phase in boats and stuff, and then they decide they want to get back into it, and they keep dumping stuff. And I don't know why, because I think they should keep this stuff a lot longer. Now they have the Trailtrekker, and they have that Truggy, I think, and then they still have the Micro T, and they have the Micro Desert Truck. So getting onto the Trailtrekker. Trailtrekker is a 1/24 scale. Being the fact that it's a 1/24 scale, it's a little bit larger. It is a crawler. It is a crawler. It is not a speedster by any means. They're slow, and they do what they're, you know, exactly what they're supposed to do. They crawl. If you look at the setup of the chassis, it's pretty cool. It's got the twin vertical plate chassis. It comes with spacers. They have like these little limit spacers in the shocks. I took mine off on mine. Ryan still has them on. I put some, you can see in there, I put some BBs in the back to weight the wheels a little bit, give it a little more weight. This thing does an excellent job crawling right out of the box. It comes stock with the nickel metal hydride batteries. It's got the brush can motor. It's geared extremely low. It's got lock differentials. You see it's got the steering servo up front. Very cool, very cool. Has a lot of articulation. Put the little stopper 4x4 there, and you can see. I mean, and I can even go higher than that, and the wheels are on the ground. It's got a ton of articulation, and it does a really good job crawling. It's very torquey. What I don't like on it is I don't like drivetrain bind. When you turn the wheel hard, you get a lot of this kind of thing. Should be a little smoother in my opinion all the way, even when you're turning. I know you are fighting because it's got lock differential, so you fight the wheels, locking up. You can see the drive shaft. It's got floating drive shafts, brush motor, like I said. You can also upgrade to LiPo if you want LiPo batteries on this. I don't see a need for it. It's got plenty of power in the stock form. Batteries last quite a bit. I want to show you now, real quick here. I'm going to grab one of my chargers. I got a couple of these small ones, but I'll show you. I got a Tower Hobby one here. I'll show you that. I want to find the connector. Okay, what I got here, this connector, I went and picked up a couple of these, and they're adapter. Basically, they adapt the Tamiya plug to the Losi mini plug, or micro plug, whatever you want to call it. Okay, and what's cool about these is the micro Trailtrekker, the desert truck, and the micro T all have the same connector. So I have a couple of these small chargers. I have a Hypertrax one, and then I have a Tower Hobby one, which they're the same charger, just branded different. I believe it's made by Hypertrax, and Tower puts their name on it. I think I paid like $20 for this charger or something when I bought it. I've had it a long time ago. You can see right on there, made in China. Like I was telling you earlier, everything is made in China. So you got to just try to buy the best product you can get. If you want to be into this stuff, you're going to have to buy the China stuff. I know it's not my popular choice, but we don't have much choice with that. Otherwise, you don't get anything. All right, here. What I do on this, it has 1 amp, 2 amp, 4 amp. I use for all these small batteries, I put this on a 1 amp charge rate. And I plug that little plug in there, like I said, and I'll charge that thing. And the Trailtrekker has the biggest milliamp battery. And it takes maybe 12 minutes, 10 minutes, 8 minutes, something like that. I mean, ridiculously fast charge times with this. That's what's cool about these, all the Losi vehicles. These other ones, we're stuck at the mercy of our transmitter or USB charger, which take forever. And the technology is out there, folks. It's been out there for a long time because these cars have been around, and we're doing this. So I talked a little bit about doing a mod on my Hypertrax possibly, or the Q32, which I still might do, so we can adapt another LiPo battery and do quick charger. But I wanted to show you this, that for a $20 charger, any Losi vehicle, couple dollar adapter, you can charge these up in about 10 minutes. And you get decent run time. I have no complaints. I've had no problems with any of the Losi vehicles so far, any of these micros. This one's Ryan's, the black one, same truck, except his doesn't have as much suspension travel because I didn't take the spacers out. He's had no issues. I had no issues. I don't know if this battery is charged right now. I want to show you the radio real quick. It's the same style as the other Losi controller I showed you. The difference with this one is 2.4 gigahertz, okay? So they give you a little upgrade on there, but you're going to pay for it because these trucks are starting to get a little costly, in my opinion. These are $149.99. Now, when you start getting in the $150 range, you're starting to get pretty expensive. You can get a lot of nice stuff out there for $150. Maybe not a crawler, but you can get a lot of different cars. You got the Dromedas, you got the Ecx 1/18 scales, you got the Latrax cars. I mean, there's a lot out there for $150. So this is pretty costly. But if you're a crawler, if you like crawling, man, these are very cool. Fun factor, I don't know if they hold my attention a ton. I break these out every so often. Ryan and I will break them out and do a little course running or running outside, even running through the rocks and stuff is fun. But it doesn't hold my attention forever. I can't sit and use these things hours on end. There's no way. I mean, I run a couple batteries and I let them sit. They're cool. They look neat on the shelf. And that's part of my collecting, too. I don't have to run my cars every day. I don't know. Some people, maybe they have one or two that's all they have is 1 or 2 cars, and they're their favorite cars, and they want nothing else, and they run, 10 batteries a week or 10 batteries a day through them. I like collecting. I like running from time to time. Oh, maybe I'll run this one. Maybe I'll run that one. And a lot of times they sit. I just take them apart. I maintain them, and I clean them, and I let them sit on the shelf a lot, and then when I want to run them, I run them. And I love coming down to my hobby room and looking at them sitting. It's nice to have different models. I love collecting. So anyway, I'll show you the steering on this. You can see it's very precise. You can see how it crawls. I'll give you a little something there. I'll put the Hypertrax in front of it. You can jump up on top of that if you can see that. But it's very precise. I don't know how good this battery is. You see, you can just creep up real slow. Just give it a little bit of throttle. It's going to make that drive backwards. Look at that. That's kind of neat. So you can kind of come up. I mean, they get over quite a bit of stuff. But you can see, look at that high center just on that. They do climb over quite a bit of stuff, but they do get stuck. I'm saying certain applications, the Hypertrax can do. The thing with this is they're pretty top heavy, so if you go to climb over, you know, they roll over. Where the Hypertrax, you can flip over and keep going. I wish I had something a little better here for you to show you, because that's not really a good example of what this truck can do. Well, I showed you on my crawler course video. If you look on my crawler course video, you can see this thing climbing over some stuff. I'm just kind of looking around here, folks. I really don't have anything in front of me that I could show you. But just climb over my hand. They creep over pretty good. As long as you got gription, you know, they go over good. You can go slow. It's got drag brake. So they are fun, and they do negotiate quite a bit of hard stuff. But just wanted to show you these, even though they're not in the category as the other ones really. They're getting expensive. It's a crawler. They are cool. They got the imitation beadlock wheels, nice grippy tires. They're fun. So I believe that's all I got for you today, folks. I know this is going to be a long video, a lot of information, but I had a request for it. And like I said, anything I do, I'm going to do to the best of my ability. So I just gave you as much information as I could possibly give you. If anybody wants any further information on any of my kits that I have shown you today, please comment. Don't forget to rate and subscribe. Also, one other thing I almost forgot with the 1/24 scales, one of the most important things, is they are 1/24 scale, which means that you can use plastic model bodies for these to adapt them to. Put them on there. And what I have here is, I have only done one so far, but I got a 1955 Chevy that I made into like a trail rig, and I custom painted it. I used that aircraft gray, and then I added some detail to look like it's kind of beat up, and you know, some body work on there, and I put some imitation rust on there in the wheel well openings, and I made a cage for the back, and with a little deck there, and I put some tires, like some spare racing tires on there from another vehicle. You can see the front, it's got the grill and the headlights in there and stuff, and added the rust detail. And I'll show you what that looks like on the car, adapted on the car. It looks pretty cool. So I pop that down there, and that goes on there. Hold on a second, I gotta get this battery cable out of the way. Pop this on there and give you a quick look-see. There we go. Alright, so that's what it looks like on the truck. So it looks pretty cool. It doesn't work the best running, you know, climbing over real extreme things, because it does add a lot of weight to the top of it, so it makes it a little top heavier versus the stock body, but it does look cool. And most of the time when it's on there, you know, I do a little running with it, but most of the time it's on the shelf. So that's something you can do too. It gives you the option to do model bodies on top of your truck. So that's all I got for you today, YouTubers. Thanks again for watching. I know it's going to be a long video, but hopefully you guys stay till the end to get all the info. And Timothy, you wanted the video, and here it is, buddy. Hope you enjoyed it. And Rich here from 2RC Productions. We'll see you again.